Unity of the Huachucas presents Reverend William Gill.
While you still can.
So I'm going to ask you a question. And you don't need to answer me, but I do want you to answer for yourself the question that I'm about to ask you. And answer in the best possible way. Tomorrow morning at around 10:53 a.m., will you still be walking on this earth? I don't know what your answer was, but if I were to ask myself that question and I would be giving myself an honest answer, the answer would be, I don't know. And I was thinking about, if tomorrow morning at about 10:53 I open my eyes and I realize I am no longer in my physical body, would I have wished that while I still could, I would have made amends in my life? It's important to realize that there are hurts that have still going unhealed. And those hurts need to be healed while we still can. I don't know about you, but I regret few things in my life, but one thing I do regret in a big way is the things I have left undone. And because I don't really know, to quote a movie, and if you know what the movie is, you get extra credit. To quote a famous movie, I don't know what my expiration date is. What was the movie? No. You are no fun. I'll give you a hint. One of the leading actor was Harrison Ford. Blade Runner? Blade Runner. In Blade Runner, the humanoids are in a quest to find out when they will die, because they were built with an expiration date. And they wanted to know what that expiration date is. Would you love to know what your expiration date is?
No.
I would. Because now I know what I can do and what time I have. And we don't know the expiration date, and it's really important to not leave this earth without having made amends. It's really important to realize that there are hurts that need to be healed. And regardless of the reason why, or regardless of assigning any blame, if the hurts are there, they need to be healed, and the time to heal them is limited. Another movie line, so if you can tell what the movie is. Limited time on earth. That's not the title of the movie, that's a line from the movie. Great movie, Grand Canyon. So we have limited time on earth, and we don't really know when life will say, check please. And because of all of that, I really believe that the time to start making amends is right now. And I really believe that those hurts that have gone unhealed, regardless of who caused the hurt, regardless of the reason, regardless of the situation, they need to be healed right now. Today. Because I really don't know, and I love you and I hope to be back and see you many times, but I really don't know if I will be on this earth tomorrow at 10:53 a.m., and neither do you. And I would really hate to open my eyes and realize I'm in that realm without physical presence. and I will go, darn it, I wish I had done that call. I wish I had made that call. I wish I had said that thing that I wanted to say to heal a hurt that I caused. Because you can only make amends while you're still on this earth. Recognize that there are hurts that have gone unhealed and they need to be healed. And recognize that you need to have a plan to heal those hurts. That you need to have a plan to make amends. And that the first day of putting your plan in action is today. I'm going to ask you another question. You might chuckle, but I really mean it. Do you have a prayer practice? Yes? I'm going to ask you another question. I'm full of questions today. Do you know, and I don't mean to be a snob, but I'm asking, do you know what Matthew chapter 5, verse 23 and 24 says? I'm going to paraphrase, but it basically says that if you have an unresolved issue with a brother or sister, don't pray. They don't say it that way. They say don't bring gifts to the altar, but that's a metaphor for it. Don't bring your gifts to the altar until and after the time that you have healed any issues and you have made reconciliation with your brothers and sisters. So if you are saying these wonderful prayers while there is still conflict inside of you, you're kind of doing it the wrong way. First, we need to reconcile what needs to be reconciled, and then we can bring the gifts to the altar, says Jesus, as quoted by the writer of the Gospel of Matthew. Sorry, I like to clarify that. So, according to the writer of the Gospel of Matthew, before you bring gifts to the altar, before you pray your respects to God, first you have to make conciliation, reconcile with your brothers and sisters. My translation of that is, I should not pray for goodness until I make amends. Because that's kind of like praying for world peace while making war. That's kind of like saying that you want life to be good while you're making life bad. Yes, you are. Yes, I am. Yes, we are. And so it's always a good idea to make amends, but I think that the extra kicker is that you don't know if by tomorrow afternoon you have the ability, the ability to go and make the amends that you have been meaning to make all your lifetime. Or a shorter version of this talk, say that you're sorry while you still can. Say that you are sorry while you still can. I think that's really important. And I think that without that, we cannot really pray for good things to happen. Daily word today. What was the word? Actually, two words. What were the words of the day today in the daily word?
World peace.
World peace, not world peace, but world peace. World peace. Interesting. World peace. And how do people go about making world peace? They, maybe they go on marches and they do the picket thing. And we're going to gather and do this and that in front of such and such government building. And do you know where the real political activism has to take place? Inside of you. That's where you need to bring your pickets your signs. That's where you need to gather and go on a march inside of yourself. Because I strongly believe, and I know you may disagree with me, and whoever might be watching might disagree with me, and that's fine. But I really, really believe that the lack of peace in the world, and there's a lot of it going on right now, is only a projection of the lack of the peace that needs to be inside each one of us. So your political activism should begin with yourself. Because until you are at peace, if you're not at peace, you're at war. That may sound like strong words, but if we are not at peace, we are at war. And I also strongly believe, and I could be wrong, and I may be proven wrong someday, but I really strongly believe that all those people out there that are doing really nasty things with bombs and things, they have a huge war going inside of them. In changing subject for a second, in the world of air traffic control, when they train air traffic controllers, they give them a motto. And the motto is, have a plan and make it work. Air traffic controllers don't go, I wonder what will happen next with all these airplanes. No, they are supposed to know what to do real time as all those airplanes are showing up to land in this one tiny little runway. And they are told that if you don't start early with a plan and make it work, it's not going to work out. The airspace will get saturated and bad things will happen. I think we can use that same teaching for our own lives. Make a plan and make it work. You don't have to answer me, but do you have a plan for making amends? You actually have a plan with steps and with goals. I'll confess I don't have one, but now that I'm listening to this talk, I should go home and make one. I should go home and write down my plan for making amends, and I should find a way to make it work. Because I keep coming up with this reality in my life that the war that I see in my life has begun with me. And that may be difficult to accept. It wasn't me who ran into my car at high speed, or it wasn't me who did such and such a nasty thing at work, but I somehow believe that it began with me. And I somehow believe that the peace that I'm seeking begins with the healing of the relationships that I broke. And somehow I think that the peace that I'm seeking begins with I, every moment of my day, not being an anxious presence in the lives of others. You don't have to answer me, but might you have ever caused anxiety on somebody else?
Not counting this morning.
Not counting this morning. You don't have to answer me, but if you cause anxiety on somebody else, might you be willing to heal that hurt? Might you be willing to make amends? And might you be willing to do that today before it's too late? It's really up to each one of us how the story ends. And I know that's hard to take. I know that if you're experiencing an illness or an illness of a loved one or a loss of a job, or I really know that life has its trials and tribulations. I've been through them, continue to be through them. But I really, really think that I am the one that gets to choose how my life goes by. And maybe through choices of my own, some of those things that have been happening that I don't like will stop happening. Maybe through choices of my own, the things that I do want to happen in my life will begin to happen. And maybe through choices of my own, there can be peace in my life. And maybe, just maybe, when there is peace in my life, there will be peace in my world. Hard to believe when I look at the news, but I somehow going to hold on to that. I'm going to make life good in William Gill's planet. And if each one of us makes life good in our planets, I wonder if our universe will be good. And I wonder if we can start this morning. So, tomorrow morning at 11:08, will you still be walking this earth? And by tomorrow morning at 11:09, you get an extra minute, will you have started making amends where you need to make amends? And will tomorrow morning by 11:09 in the morning, June 1st, 11:09 in the morning, will you have made up your mind to create peace in your world by you yourself being at peace? And tomorrow morning by 11:09, still 11:09, will you be able to pray with a clean heart because you have reconciled anything that needs to be reconciled with your brothers and sisters? I'm going to become an unpopular minister with what I'm about to say. Stop praying until you seek reconciliation. Because only then your prayers will be clean prayers. And be a political activist for what's going on inside of you. And make amends. And do so while you still can. And I really, really, really hope that I'll be around the next time I'm scheduled to speak here. So I can be with you again, which I love. However, I also hope that next time I walk through those doors, there will be peace in William Planet, because I will have gone out, made a plan, made it work to make amends in my life where I need to do so. Don't ask for peace when you are not at peace. Take that home and don't pray on it until you reconcile what needs to be reconciled. I love you.